All right, everybody, we are now live, and I'm just randomly showing this picture of 1441 gear. Hey, everyone. So welcome to our 4th episode of our TLD live chat. I'm playing with green screens this week because I've been having snow, so I'm coming to you from the world's largest ball of sisal twine. So this is it's a great place to be coming from.
What's the difference between sisal twine and real twine or regular twine?
I don't know.
There's an SISAL before twine.
Yeah.
That's
the main difference.
Makes sense.
That's the main difference.
So I have no idea. So I just found ridiculous pictures to use as background as we play with green screens this week. So the main things we're going to be talking about this week, we're going to be bringing up some of our videos that we did this week. We're going to start with our reloading confusion with Jason. Then we'll go into our Eagle operator. And then we're going to breeze a little bit on 1441 gear tonight. We're actually going to have Chuck. He's actually going to come and join us again next week. So we're going to block out a little bit of time for him so that he can come and join us and actually ask questions. And, well, he's not going to ask questions. He knows all the answers. But people can ask questions about his holsters and see what can be done and come up with whatever ridiculous combos of things they want to see done. So to start us out then, Jason, why don't you tell us a little bit about the reloading, what kind of prompted that video, and any other things you kind of want to add that maybe you missed in that video?
Honestly, the thing that prompted is Joe getting into load development for his 6mm arc, and just you guys asking about reloading a lot. That's kind of what prompted it. I think I talked a little bit about that in the actual video as well. Let's see here. There were things that I missed, like a scale. I forgot to talk about a powder scale because that is huge. You need to figure out the amount of powder that you're going to use for your loads. So next Friday, I think next Friday, the actual reloading video. So I'm going to go through and actually reload 5 223 rounds. So we'll get a little bit more in depth, and I'll make sure to include the scale.
I already know how mad YouTube's going to get. How dare you? You never show that.
Speaking of YouTube, are you broadcasting on YouTube?
Am I broadcasting? It should be on the TLD live chat channel.
Yes, I'm under that one.
Raggy.
Oh well. So Jason, I watched your video and I really liked it. People have to kind of pick and choose out of it, like what you're talking about.
Working for
and
me.
Where? Can you even hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I liked your video, but it was kind of like you started going through like what you need to do. It'd be nice to throw up a list or whatever in your next video. Throw up a list of like the bare minimum essentials, what equipment you would need to do reloading. Okay. Because, I mean, you went over, the press and the measuring system, the dies for the press. You went over that stuff. But, like, if somebody wanted to get into reloading and make one bullet at a time, what would they need? And just generically write it out in the list. Like, these are the five items that you have to go online and find. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, and that was kind of the idea. Like, if I was starting, like, what do I need to go to the store and buy?
10-4. All right. Include that for next Friday's video.
Yeah. How'd you get along making that video? How'd it go?
It was okay. It was a little, positioning the cameras and not realizing like, oh yeah, I got to actuate this arm. And so I got to move this camera out of the way. Just stuff like that didn't really pay attention to when I was setting up.
How did the editing go? I loved all the transitions.
It was so much fun.
I thought the joke in between the Walsh.
Yeah.
Walsh. And then Walsh is eating peanuts. I thought that was hilarious. I wasn't ready for that. So I thought
that's something we had talked about. I was like, okay, like it was either that or I wanted him like trying to fit a pizza in his mouth. Like, when I
So it's funny, I probably had about 50 takes of me trying to catch the peanut in my mouth, and I thought to myself, you know what? It's just as funny if I don't. So it's not that big of a deal. Now I got 50 takes of me not making it, so it doesn't really matter.
That's awesome.
I did that one where I had like a whole handful, and you go like, I threw them all up. Yeah, no, that one was fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to your other videos so I can actually see what is like how you do everything. Like when you actually go through loading around, you can actually know how it's done.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. Okay, so let's move on. We'll go on to the Eagle Operator gun belt. So super good news. I know Joe probably doesn't believe this day actually came, but the box of that belt is actually in the mail. I'm surprised it didn't show up today. You check your mail today?
No, I don't think I did, but it's too big of a box to go in my mailbox, right?
Yeah, they probably would. Yeah, no, it's too big. They would taken it out. So honestly, I think I'm being I'm a picky bitch with the Eagle Operator. To be honest with you, I think you're gonna like it a lot. When I actually had it on and wearing it, I didn't have any issues. And some of the complaints I had with it is really a left-hander's problem. Like I bet you if I undid everything and then flipped it over, I'd have the molly I wouldn't need on the opposite side. You know what I'm saying? Like for you, it'll be on your holster side, so it won't matter anyway. You could easily put something else there. Like you could
And
put
I think the biggest fix from when I was watching your video, the biggest fix for me is I'm not going to run the inner belt. I'm just going to run it as an outer belt and make it super tight and see how that goes for me. It might slop around too much, and I might have to put the inner belt, but
so you don't have to. So there's actually it's called the Hsgi Micro, and what it is it actually makes it from a 2-part belt into a 1-part belt. So it just Velcro. Well, I think you could choose either one. I think you can get it either Velcro method, so it doesn't matter, and it turns it into a pad. So then, and that pad is like super, like has a high friction level. And some people were talking in the comments about that, how they just use that and the pad instead. So I think it's only like $20. I would highly recommend doing it.
Yeah. I don't know. I hear all Jason family talking. I think it's Jason.
It's probably mine. I mean,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, from watching your video, I guess that would be. I would be annoyed if I bought that belt too. I think, but since you're sending it to me to try it out and use, I think that's going to be my best bet is just running it without the inner belt. But we'll see. I really like that.
Once it was all connected up, I really didn't have a problem. I was more annoyed that I had all the other setups to I was going to see how to mix and match it, see what it worked best with. We all love that Blue Force Gear EDC belt. That low profile one is just awesome. Yeah. So I would have recommended.
So I can't run it with that. I don't know. So I don't understand their logic. Like you did it on the video. Like, oh, we switched the Velcro, the male and female side of Velcro, right? The female side's soft, the male side's the hook, I guess. We switched it around so it doesn't tear up your clothes. But then we put the hook side, the male side, on the belt that is your inner belt, and that you'd normally use. You can use without the outer belt. And then it's going to tear up all your clothes. Like, what? So the only logic or reasoning I could see to do that is so you can run the outer belt without an inner belt and it won't tear up your clothes. That's the only rationality I can see from that.
Yeah, I kept thinking about it, and you had brought up that it probably meant if you're only running one of the belts. I'm like, sure, but then every time you just be running the EDC belt, you'd be tearing up your clothes. It just every time I thought about it, it made less and less sense. And it really just seemed like they just wanted to sell you on their belt, which it just didn't make a lot of sense. And the thing that annoyed me is when you buy most belts, it either comes with it in the price or there's a very large thing somewhere that says, hey, your inner belt is not included. So you need to order an inner belt. So you kind of have to pick a choice like, hey, be aware it's not included. Nowhere in there. They just ship it to you. And you're like, well, where's the rest of the parts? Oh, you didn't order them, and you got to order. Yeah. It's not $15 for shipping for a $17 part. You're like, oh, fantastic! It's really cool.
I think they're just trying to be different, and I don't really think they thought that out because I don't know who's making these belts that are saying, okay, people are going to wear our EDC belt or the inner belt all day, every day. I don't know if that's a conversation that these companies are having. That obviously. Eagle Operator did not have that conversation, but
yeah, and I know that like Eagle Operator is just like a subsidiary of what's that company that owns Federal, that outdoor
Vista Outdoors.
Yeah, Vista Outdoors, who owns like all those different subsidiaries. They actually own the Eagle Operator also.
Oh, okay.
It's a little subsidiary. So I don't know if it's just some little company where they just pumped out some equipment, and it's kind of wonky. That's the best way I can say it. The only thing that really upset me was the molly. The fact that, if you would think if you got a larger belt, there would be more molly segments, and that's kind of part of doing business. It costs a little bit more from the manufacturer, but to just give you less because you need a bigger belt is kind of crazy. Are we losing everybody?
I'm here, but my internet's messing up, so I closed my camera, and I'm moving to a better spot in my house where I get Wi-Fi.
The bathroom.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, always. Yeah, the bathroom. Guarantee you got good internet there.
Yep. I'm down in my basement, so now I'm moving right underneath the router, and hopefully that helps. I'll just keep my camera off.
Okay.
Try to get the family to be quiet.
So using the Eagle operator, like once I was actually like doing reloads and stuff like that, I didn't mind it in terms of like it staying in place. I just hated how all my pouches and stuff were just a couple molly segments off.
Yeah, I really want to see how it holds when there's no inner belt, because that inner belt that you're using, there's no way to cinch that down. And I personally hate belts like that. Like the belts where the buckle, you jump feed it through the front of the buckle. Like most military dress uniforms are like that, where you jump feed it through the front and you just kind of pull it. I hate belts like that. Like I like to cinch my belt down.
It's even more annoying because they're both sides are Velcro. So you try and like tighten it down, and it keeps getting caught on itself.
Yeah,
it's really pretty frustrating when you try to use it. I'm with you. That's why we like that Blue Alpha Gear EDC low profile belt so much. Low profile EDC belt, because you can cinch it down super. It's so easy to adjust. It takes like 2 seconds.
It folds over itself, right? You put it through the buckle, and it folds back over the opposite way.
Yeah.
So you can just cinch it down, and then it's good to go. The one that you were showing, there's no way of cinching it down. So I think it's going to take me 15 times putting it on and taking it off and readjusting it. But I'm going to get it to where I have to suck in real hard and actually put in the clasp, and then I can let it go and it's cinched down. And then I'm going to run it like that and see how it works out.
Now, do you run a leg strap or no?
So I normally do on my duty stuff, but that's because it sits a good significant amount lower. Mm-hmm. With that mount, I don't know if I'm going to want to run a leg strap or not. I don't have a leg strap, so I'm going to try without. And then if it's all floppy everywhere and banging into my leg, then I'm going to have to figure out, either go buy something and sew something up or figure out a company that sells them.
Yeah, and I say that just because I found whenever I draw, it like tilts up just enough to be inconsistent. I don't think I would never like not be able to draw, but it was just always a little bit inconsistent whenever I would do that. And if I use a leg strap, I just feed it through the actual, little QLS bracket. I don't do anything fancy. I just put it underneath the QLS bracket and then tighten everything down, and it's like, well, good enough, whatever. And then I run it that way. I like it a lot better with the leg strap, but I don't prefer having a leg strap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But makes it overall better.
Play around with it.
Yeah. I want to play with those angled mag pouches facing the correct way one day. Maybe I'll get a chance to look at those.
Yeah. I mean, with your setup, you're more set up for the range anyway. So it'll be interesting to see if you like that stuff, or if you're going to be more a competition shooter type thing, or which direction you end up going.
Yeah. No, yeah, it'll be interesting once we kind of see the different things. We have a couple different belts to try and a couple different other setups and pouches we can try. So it'll be interesting to see how it all goes.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have a whole lot of people hanging out.
What sisal twine is. Jesus, I can't talk.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So it's made from natural plant fibers and is a strong, economical workhorse twine. This is the number of strands used to make the finished twine. Application is agriculture, landscape, nursery, and then general industrial tying application.
Is it food safe?
Yeah, can we eat that large?
Can I tie up a prime rib with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So based off the coding definition that he just read, or Lord Commander Snow, Jason went completely accurate. It just has an extra word in front of twine. I mean, that's the definition of all twine, right?
That's what twine is.
Yeah. The sisal must be just the plant base.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right, let's go over. Jason, why don't you share us a little bit about 1441? We'll do a little bit of a teaser today, even though because we got Chuck coming with us next week. We'll do a little bit of a teaser talking about that, and then we'll go from there.
So, and for those of you that don't know, Chuck is the owner of 1441. So I messed up. I thought we were going to have him on next week. We could have had him on today. My apologies. So Chuck reached out to us. I don't remember when, December or January, saying that he wanted to send us a couple holsters for us to review and just kind of give some good, solid feedback on. So we got the Paratus 2.0, which I actually have on right now. I'm not joking, man. I fell in love with this holster. So if you guys watch the video, the biggest thing I love outside the waistband holsters. It's practically all I use. And that Paratus plate on the slide side of the holster really forces the holster closer to your body. So right there, he has some wings, but maybe one of the other pictures might have it. I don't know.
I think he has it on.
Anyways, I fell in love with the holster. So there's a couple parts in the video where you can see me drawing and reholstering, and it does go back into the holster really easily. Chuck had said that it was designed that way. The reason that they did the full sweat guard on both sides is that you can kind of, without looking, drive the holster or drive the gun back home into the holster. I kind of train that way anyways. I think that's something that they taught us in the military. I don't know if you remember Cody or Joe. I always felt like they were saying, try not to look at the holster when you're reholstering. I feel like this holster makes it even easier to reholster. I don't remember if I put it into the video or not, but I ran some transitioning from a rifle to a pistol and back. It was easy. It was easy to do. So I'm excited to hear more about the drop holster, because when I saw that one, I kind of fell in love with it. I was joking with Joe, if I had a CZ PO whatever, P09. Yeah. I got it right in the video, I think.
You did.
You did.
I would have kept that holster.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have.
So I don't know, Joe.
Really
never showed up. And he can do some super Gucci stuff on his holster. So he sent me some awesome pictures of like some Hawaii print. I dig Hawaii print. You know, I wear every Friday. I try to wear a Hawaii print shirt. It's just something that I fell in love with Hawaii when I was there. He had some really cool holster designs using Hawaii print on the outside, or using like basket weave on the outside and a Hawaii print as the inner kydex. Really looking forward to using this holster more. And I'm thinking about doing like maybe a 6-month follow-up or something like that. Show, hey, I've been using this thing every day for the last 6 months. Here's how it's worn. You know, do I still like it? Right now, it's my go-to. It's what I want to put on every morning.
Yeah.
Joe, did your what is that one called? What's the drop one?
Bellator.
Bellator. Did your Bellator show up like at your doorstep yet?
It did. So let me say that when Jason, kids are screaming again.
Sorry.
when 1441 holster first reached out, I kind of rolled my eyes on this. I'm going to be honest. I kind of rolled my eyes and went, oh, great. Yet another Kydex holster brand, right? Like, I feel that Kydex holster brand are a dime a dozen. And then on top of that, you can go on Amazon and get a Kydex holster if you want it, for $40-$50 or whatever. So I was a little skeptical. And let me tell you, when I got this thing in, this is different. This is something different.
One pause too. We definitely ordered, like, yours wasn't a regular order either. It was
so
very.
That's what I want to get into. So
yeah.
So a couple things that are different about the holster, right? Number one, I have a complicated gun, and that's the gun that I wanted to put on a battle belt. That's what I wanted to drop holster for. Is kind of my end of days or go to battle gun, whatever you want to call it. And that's my CZ-P09. So I have a CZ-P09, which has a threaded barrel and suppressor sights on it. It comes from CZ like that. And then I knocked out the rear suppressor sight. I put in a bracket for a red dot, and I put a Swamp Fox red dot on top of it. And then on top of that, I'm running an O-light, which isn't the most common light, right, for guns. So I'm running an O-light Valkyrie Mini 2. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see what you can do. You know, if you say that your holster are so great, let's see what you can do. So it came in. I don't know where that feedback comes from.
So it's echoing.
Yeah. So it came in, and I was instantly impressed that it double layered. That's the biggest thing that I'm impressed about. So I was instantly impressed that it was double layered. It's not a single sheet of Kydex. So it's going to last better. If the gun's not in it and I fall on top of it, I don't have to worry about it cracking in half. On top of that, he sent all the QLS, the Safariland QLS stuff. He sent it with the holster. I've reached out at this point. I mean, I haven't been actively doing it, but I reached out to 2 different companies. Jason, you mentioned one of them, On Point Holsters, which is another kind of just guy doing it in his garage, like 1441, I guess. But I had reached out to 2 different companies and said, I want a QLS holster. And they both said, well, if you send us the QLS or you send us the mount, we'll make the holster around it. But that's shipping extra ways. You know, that's me finding it. That's everything else. Through 1441 gear, it just all came in one box. Not only did it come in the box, but it's already put together. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So I'm extremely impressed. I don't think this is just another Kydex holster company. I really don't. I love the fact that he's self-employed, that he has a home business, that he has all of the guns and all of the different lights and everything else that he can do for a holster. And I love that I'm supporting a small business in America. And on top of that, the prices are very reasonable. So I went on his website. I'm going to grab a couple more holsters, I think, for the, the Hellcat and my Mod 2. So I'm going to grab a couple more holster. And I was just thoroughly impressed with the website build, the options that you have, all the different Kydex options, and actually seeing that picture that you had when we first started the chat. I'm a little jealous, and I kind of wish that I had chosen a different color for the inside Kydex. I don't know why. I think I would have chose something different than that, purpley pink rainbow color, but something really bright on the inside and then black on the outside looks so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that one. He has like a basket weave on the outside and a Hawaii print on the inside. That was one of the pictures that he sent me when I was like, he sent me some Gucci pics that we can throw into the video. That was one of them.
Well, do you still have that pic? Can you throw it up? I can't hear you at all.
Can't hear you.
Rookie.
All right. Sorry, I was worried I was the one echoing. So yeah, I don't know if everybody saw, but Harry Maloney is here. So let me see if I can pull it up while you are chatting with him and answering his question.
So Harry, I have the Paratus. So if you can't see that, he says, which one of the 1441 holsters do you have, Jason? I have the Paratus 2.0 for a Springfield Armory XD Mod 2 in 40. And man, I swear I love that holster. I have an On Point. I have a Raven concealment. I have Blade Tech. I have, you name the holster company, I probably have a holster for them. And going off what Joe is saying, so my work, we require a level 2 retention. You have to have a hood on your drop holster, which 1441 gear offers. But another company, I think it was, I can't remember the name of it. They had to, in order to make that work, I had to send them one of my Safarilands that had the SLS system on it, the hood already on it, so they could take that off and build a holster for me. And it was going to be the exact same price of 1441 gear, but I had to pay shipping to ship that stuff to him. So as soon as I found out that Chuck in 1441 gear was going to do this Bellator and offer it with a hood, I picked one up for my work gun. So that's going to be my duty gun, duty holster from now on.
That's awesome. See, that holster looks so good like that. I don't know why I like it, but I do.
Yeah.
Or even have something crazy like the "Don't Tread on Me" flag on the inside. and then just black on the outside, just something different. So you only see it when you look inside the holster.
What's funny is he was asking me about ideas, and he was like, "Hey Walsh, I know you had some cool idea. Listen, there's a hex cam, so you know what I had to pick. So I'm sorry." But he was talking to me. He's like, "You sure you want this hex cam?" And I'm like, I'm pretty sure. But he was showing me. He's like, "We could do a cool don't tread on me on the inside." And I was like, "Oh man, that would be pretty neat." We were talking about some different ideas, but yeah, I like what you're saying too, because I was thinking about that too. Like, what you would never see it unless you had just the holster in your hand.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I got a Bellator. I ordered one. I got it in coyote on the outside and blood red on the inside.
Oh, that's cool. Gonna be interesting. Like, I can't say like right off the bat I want to say, oh, I'm not gonna like that. But if you describe the holster that we're looking at right now, I would say that's gonna be ugly, and I really like it. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I want to see what everybody else is getting too. So if you're buying a holster from 1441 and you go with a little bit different pattern, make sure you shout out to us or you show us some picture of it, because I want to see some other people's stuff so I don't keep wasting my money.
Yeah, I want to, Harry, if you get one of these, you better let us see whatever cool design you do.
Yeah,
I thought about doing safety orange on the inside.
That wouldn't be too bad either.
Yeah.
Especially with like carbon fiber on the outside or something. That would be pretty cool. I don't know what it is about that one. I just really like it.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of specialty prints. So I talked about in the video, I showed a lot of these, but he also has like 250 blue guns or green guns, I don't know, mold guns to make holsters for.
Yeah, and he had all the lights and everything. I mean, I'm really impressed with somebody doing this out of their garage. I am thoroughly impressed. It's maybe $10 or $20 more than what you'd spend on a cheap Amazon holster. It's double layered. It's double layered with, I think, 0.08 Kydex. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, and to clarify, Joe, so the drop holster double layered. The Bellator's double layered. The Paratus that I have is just a single layer.
Okay.
0.08 Kydex.
Okay. So, I mean, when it's up there that far in your hip, I can see that. Ooh, click on that thin blue line one, man.
The Superman one?
Oh, that's a Superman emblem. Never mind.
There's a Punisher thin blue line too.
Punisher.
I think you were talking, and I was actually looking at it. I'll pull it up.
Punisher skull has a thin blue line.
There's
and the weight light, right? Like when I reached out to a couple companies, one of the companies was, I don't know, like a 3 or 4 month wait on any holster. So
Joey had one like this, but instead of the red, it was blue.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think his website's super intuitive, like easy to find stuff, and he uses PayPal, which is great for me.
Yeah,
everything's super easy.
Look,
Cody,
we can get Cody his Navy one.
Cody, did you get the chest rig, or did you opt out on that one? Did you buy that one?
No, I didn't. Because Jason and I have been talking about that for months about getting a chest rig. Maybe that'll be the next thing I'll pick up.
Yeah, chest rigs are great for backpacking, right? When you're backpacking through the woods.
Yeah.
Where's that
and
at?
so
Where's
I kind of wish I would have known about that. I think it's in his Paratus.
It says tactical.
No,
that's in the tactical is the Bellator.
Yeah, that's just the Bellator.
But
sorry.
Yeah, if I would have known about Chuck when I started looking to purchase something for a chest rig, I probably would have went with him. I ended up going with the Hill People gear. It's like a bag that sits on your chest, and you can set your gun in it. And it was cheap. It was like $80. So that's what I ended up going with instead of getting an actual chest rig. Whoa!
I'm trying to pull up our Instagram to find 1441 gear, but that's not what I want to do.
Yeah, where did I see that chest rig?
It was on Instagram.
Okay,
let me see.
It was one of the pictures that Chuck had sent to me.
I'll spare you while I'm trying to dig through it. You have to see some random person's Instagram.
So I don't know. I mean, right now, the only holster that I have for my my Hellcat is that minimalist holster. I'll call it a holster in quotations. That little minimalist that clips over the just the trigger guard. It's a little weary putting that. I wear it in the small of my back, so sliding the gun down my pants and only having the holster go over the trigger guard is a little weary. I mean, it works well, but I might look at something for inside the waistband for my Hellcat from them.
Joe, have you seen the movie Masterminds
I don't think so.
with Zach Galifianakis?
No, I don't think so.
So he puts a little revolver in the back of his pants, and it goes off, and he's like, "It went right betwixt them, right between the butt crack."
I always angle it out, so
That's cool.
if it goes off, then I shoot whatever right behind me and down, I guess.
Yeah.
Look at that Punisher one. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thin blue line.
Yeah.
Now we're just like drooling over Chuck's holsters.
Right.
I know, we're just, like the whole live chat is us just looking at his website. Like, come on,
I love. We were like, we're only going to touch on it because he's going to be on next week, and now it's like, check out all the cool stuff that he can do.
Now we've opened it for him to talk about him instead.
We
of
won't have shit. We won't have nothing to say next week.
Right, Terry, if you come next time, if you come over on next Thursday, I don't know, and you may miss the beginning, Chuck, the actual owner of 1441, is going to be on the chat, so you can ask him anything, do whatever you want. But Harry, do you want to say thanks for the testing and research? You guys saved me a ton of money and time. So yeah, dude, we love looking at this stuff and go, is this crap? Nope, it's good.
Yeah. And Harry, know that we're gonna be honest. Like, if it's crap, we're gonna call it. Now, I won't be running over this holster with my truck like I did the flashlight. I'm not that brave.
No, well, hold on though. That flashlight still works, and there's actually almost everyone on this team is fighting to get a hold of that flashlight.
Yeah,
we all want the battle-worn one.
It's sitting on my dresser right now. I grab it and I use it. I still use it.
I'm thinking about finding a company that will retap it just to get it back in the original configuration and be like, nope, you can run it, man. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, go to any of your local
machine shops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they might even be able to take that bracket out and just have someone TIG weld it, re-drill. You could probably beef it up a little bit so it's not removable at all. I bet you get some
bracket is bent, so you have to get a new bracket if you want to fit it in.
Just weld it on.
Yeah. It's aluminum.
My neighbor actually right behind me, he has a TIG welder. Send it to me, I could get it welded up. He'd probably do it for me.
If you told me, I'd be like, hey man, I welded it up and it was welded really poorly, I would only like it more. Like you're like, hey, this is the first time I've ever welded. I did it for you. Like,
I'll ask him and say, hey man, can I use your TIG welder?
Yeah, perfect.
I've never done it before. Like, perfect.
You're gonna have a hole in the side of a flashlight. You're gonna be able to see the battery through the side of the
lines
flashlight.
are wavy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But no, Walsh, if I send it to Jason for him to weld it up, you're never gonna see it again.
No, because he'll steal it.
Yeah, you'll see it in a video on one of his guns.
Yeah, well, like, hey, because I said that when we started. I was like, listen, here's the thing. I'll hook you guys up with, we had a couple different O-lights to send out. I'll send these to you guys, but if it survives, I get the destroyed one. You're like, okay. No. You're like, no, it's mine.
In all fairness, what date is it? And you ship the belt?
We have had that belt for a really long time.
Yeah.
So like 3 months.
For people watching, Walsh has promised to send me that belt, I don't know, for 3 months now, 3 or 4 months.
November,
I think.
I think it was November.
Jason had said, hey, we want you to test out the holster. And I'm like, all right, send it on over. I'll just use a regular belt. And Jason's like, well, it's kind of better for a battle belt. And I was like, yeah, then I'll probably do the video next year when I finally get the belt.
And it got funnier because we had some plate carriers that were like they were going to come in black, and I was like, oh no, I need to hold on to this belt better because I can't do a plate carrier without the belt, and all the belts are camo.
Yeah. So Walsh sends me a picture of the belt in a box and says I'm shipping it tomorrow. And a week later he says, hey, I might have to keep this belt around because I got this plate carrier stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's just perfect. I thought it was already shipped.
Like, I thought we sent this already. Like, what do you mean? I thought it was already in the mail.
We were getting those messages from Walsh's Facebook account like, this user no longer is active on here. Please try again later.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
Hey, so we
left. I got one. Hold on. Keep talking. I'm gonna grab something real quick.
So we have said for, I don't know, 4 episodes now that we're going to talk about the history of thin line defense.
Oh.
So, I mean, we're 30 minutes into it. It'll probably take 10, 15 minutes. So
let's do it.
I'm going to add one real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
We did get a company send us a 6.5 muzzle brake. let me get rid of this.
Yeah, your green
Hold on,
screen.
It disappeared like on Star Trek.
Yeah.
So Ultradyne did send us this Apollo Max 6.5 for us to try out. So we're going to be trying this in the future. The only thing that frustrates me is I have the Area 419 on mine, and I love it. And I have to take it off now to put this on. Not to say that this isn't awesome, but I love how it's already set up and ready. So, Joe, I just want to add this little piece. I did reach out to the owners of the Hex PSA 6.5, and I offered to buy it back from them, and they said no. So
Did they really? I hate you.
I was like,
hate you.
So I was like, you know what? I need another 6.5. How awesome would it be to run two,
Yeah.
run them side by side, and have
Yeah.
the gas? I'm like, oh, perfect.
Yeah.
We got optics for it. We have the muzzle brake for it.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, I love that gun. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yep. The gun that I told you not to sell. I hate you.
Anyway, go ahead.
So I guess it starts off. I don't even know when. Do you guys know when? Maybe 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Probably 3 at least.
Yeah, it was like 3 when you started doing the knives.
Yeah,
The saw
that
blades.
So I was sitting around. I had use or lose leave that I had to take, so I took some leave, but I didn't go anywhere. I stayed in the local area, and you know how you get when after 2 weeks of sitting around doing nothing, you get stir crazy. Played all my video games, watched all my movies, and I didn't know what to do with myself. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted to make my own knife. I'm going to go out in the garage, have an old saw blade, and I'm going to make my own knife. So that's what I did. Went out in the garage.
I remember thinking you were a little bit crazy too, because it wasn't like you were prepping into it either. It was like Wednesday you were playing video games, and Thursday you were cutting knives.
Yes. Yeah, I woke up that morning and went, what am I going to do today? I'm going to go make my own knife in the garage out of an old saw blade. So I go into the garage, I map it, I do a design. I actually stole, what is it? K-Bar. The K-Bar weapon retention knife.
The TDI knife, yeah.
Yep. So I have one of those, so I stole their design. I traced it out on paper, sprayed it onto the saw blade, cut it out with a die grinder, used files, did everything by hand. Didn't have a sander or anything at that time. I went to the hardware store, bought a map torch, brought it home, heated it up with a map torch and some vice grips, and dumped it in some oil. And I was like, well, let's see how this works out. It was actually hardened. Yeah, it was hardened. So I come into the house, I clean it up real good. I come into the house, I put it in the wife's oven. She wasn't too happy, too thrilled about that. So I do 2 heat cycle with it, I think on 450 degrees for an hour each. Pull it out, and it's hardened. It's holding an edge. It's crazy, right? So I was all excited, and I take a picture, and I send it to everybody in this chat. And Jason pipes up first, and he says, I have to have that. And I'm like, what do you mean you have to have that? This is my knife. Like, I just made this in my garage. Like, I am He-Man. I am Barbarian. I made a knife. I am John Rambo. So, yeah, I got out the stamp set, and I stamped it 001.
Yep.
Very first knife I ever made, and Jason bought it off of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, son of a gun. Now I have to make another knife. So I go into the garage, and I make another knife, and then Walsh chimes in and says, I need that in my life. And I'm like, son of a gun.
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Can we note that I still don't have my knife back?
Yeah, you can. You can. You know who to reach out to for that one.
Anyway,
But,
sorry, good.
Yeah, and then Cody ended up wanting his knife and wanting, there it is.
It makes me miss mine.
Yeah. And I did it LSU color for Cody. What number's on there? 3?
DD2.
Yeah. Cody got 2 and Walsh got 3. So I end up making like 7 or 8 of the saw blade knives. I even went to Lowe's and bought brand new saw blades and cut them up. It's hilarious, but that's what I did. And here I am sitting with 7 knives, nothing for myself. So I end up making a survival hatchet, like little tomahawk, survival tomahawk, weighs half as much as a full can of Coke. And it did really well. Like, you're not going to chop down a tree with it, right? But it's really good for survival stuff to throw in my pack. Fast forward, Jason, maybe like 3 months or so, and I get into 1095 steel, just steel blanks. I'm using the material removal method for my knives, and Jason hits me up and says, this is what I want in a knife, master key, right?
Yeah.
So he wants something.
Do you want me to go grab it?
Oh,
Yeah.
you can.
All right.
You got it around.
So he wants something that's kind of square, an edge on the bottom edge, but he wants to be able to pry with it. So I end up doing that and make it out of 1095 steel. Took a long time with hand files. I'm not gonna lie, took a long time. Was able to harden it. Built my own little kiln in my garage using some wood burning bricks and stuff like that. And then Jason says, "Hey, I want that Cerakoted. Is there any way to Cerakote it?" So at this time, reach out to Walsh and Cody and Jason. They all had input. Hey, what should we call this if I'm going to make knives? And they were called Death Dealer Knives at that time. So Jason says, "Hey, I want that Cerakoted," and I'm like, "All right, well, I have a compressor. I'll buy an oven to Cerakote it, but you buy the Cerakote. I Cerakote your knife, but I get to keep the rest of the Cerakote." He said, "Done deal." There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's an OD green wrap that's on it.
Yeah, that thing's still awesome looking.
I love this thing.
So you should send that to 1441 gear and have them make you a holster for it.
I should. I want to get it so it stays right here on my plate carrier.
Yeah. He's probably watching. He'd totally do it.
Yeah.
I'll send him a picture and ask him about it.
So Jason sent. I thought he would buy a pint or whatever. He didn't. He bought like the big, not like the 5 gallon, but he bought the biggest bottle.
It was like a quart. It was like 64 ounces.
Of
something like that.
So then I got that, and then Walsh, I'm like, "Hey, can you Cerakote a gun?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't see why not. I have a compressor."
We haven't even built the gun yet, and we talked about painting it before we even bought the parts.
That's right. It was your 300 blackout. So I get all the parts for the 300 blackout. We're going through. We're talking about, hey, should we? We're getting out of knives. This isn't really Death Dealer Knives anymore. What should we, call this? And we're law enforcement. We're military. We're everything. We support all that stuff. So we're like, you know what? We support everybody that does any type of community service like that, serves the community. So let's call it thin line defense for all the thin lines. You got, white, blue, red, green,
teachers, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody. So let's call it thin line defense. That's what we're going to call it. So we came up with that. I got all the parts for Walsh 300 blackout. And then he started almost backpedaling because he wanted it was my second Cerakote job. Yes. And he's like, "Well, I don't know. Do you want these crappy gun parts just to practice on?" I'm like, "Walsh, I'm not going to spend my time. It takes a lot of time to prep and paint and bake and everything else. I'm not going to do that just to practice on gun parts." And he's like, "Well, are you sure you're good enough? Are you sure you can do this?" He starts second guessing me left and right. And I'm like, "I don't know, man. Do you want your gun painted or not?" And he's like, "Well, I want you to practice first." I'm like, "Fine." Because I'm doing this.
Practice. I recommended it.
I'm doing this in my garage, and I'm limited on what days, I work a lot, and I'm limited on what days have good enough weather that I can do this. Can't be too cold, can't be raining, can't be windy. I'm like, fine, then I'm going to throw yours to the side, and I'm going to paint my own gun. I'm going to put my own gun before yours. And he's like, I guess.
So I end up pull it up while you're talking.
Yeah, I end up painting my little XD Mod 2. And I painted it the same exact pattern that he wanted, the Cryptek-ish. Can't use Cryptek, that copyrighted. Broken glass? I don't know what you call it, but
Hex camo? Yeah.
Yeah, extended hexes, elongated hexes. So I ended up painting my gun. Walsh loved it and regretted ever telling me to paint my gun first. So painted his gun, and then we ran with it. We did that for a while. Just painting guns in my garage. And then we saw on YouTube, I don't know, there was some talk between all of us, right, guys? There's some talk between all of us that, hey, there's all the, we're looking for gear to buy. We're looking for red dots. And we don't know if people are being honest or not. We don't know if people are being paid to do the videos. So we're like, do you know what? We should buy this stuff. And if it's not good, then we're going to tell everybody it's not good. And that's what brought us to today, right, guys? Who wants to add in?
We started off. Remember that we had we haven't done these in a while, but what do we call it? Shit or git?
Yeah, that was the originals.
Yeah. And so is this garbage, or should you keep this?
Yeah, and we started with some super basic stuff because we'd always talk about things that were really good that kind of got slammed on, like a Sig Romeo 5. I love that red dot, and
I love that red dot.
There's zero reason not to run that. Someone's like, "I'm gonna get the fancy optic." Don't.
Yeah, and we Walsh and I were talking about this the other day. Like, When he first wanted to buy a red dot, I had suggested the Vortex Spark AR because that's what I had. And then a friend of mine got the Romeo 5, and I was like, oh, man, I wish I would have had the Romeo 5. Compared to the Romeo 5, I hate my Vortex Spark AR. But there's just stuff like that. Like, you hear about how garbage an optic is from some of these guys that I feel like are shills on YouTube. And we could bring, we have some humor with it, but tell it like it is. Be honest with our reviews.
Because I think that's the coolest part is when you actually see them, you actually get to mess with them. You realize something that may cost, like 3 or 4 times as much is not 3 or 4 times better. And I think that's the reason why we really want to do the channel. Like, is this stuff actually worth it, or is the $100 one still better? And that's what's funny is even after all this time, the $100 optic is still perfectly fine.
Yep. And I was sold on that because I watched a YouTube video after you guys were talking about it. I watched a YouTube video. It was like a 20-minute video, and he did everything he possibly could to it. Froze it and beat it, and then he shot it with a shotgun. Like, that's where I got the idea for the Olight, and it survived getting shot with birdshot.
Yeah.
Because then keep people to know, this SIG Romeo 5 is actually a hollow sun. So if you didn't know that, it's actually the hollow sun housing. It's just rebranded. So
they're all made in the same factory.
Exactly. If you buy I want to buy a hollow sun. Cool. This is the same. I'm buying primary arms. It's the same. It's the same ones.
Yeah. And what are before COVID? What were they running? 120.
No. You can find them on sale for 99 sometimes.
That was the magic number. Like, you get these for $100, and it was just so cool because you got a shake to wake optic, 2 MOA. It's all you really needed. It had some really good brightness settings. 50. I still haven't changed the battery on this, and I got this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic.
Was selling them with like 10 PMags.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was $200. It was 10 PMags and a SIG Romeo 5. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was in like the height of the fun.
Yeah.
And I want to say,
like old men. Back in my day, that thing only got pre-COVID.
Get off my lawn.
What's interesting though is, and I want to add a little bit more into the evolution. Sorry, Cody, you go ahead before I move on.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say that's what kind of is different about our channel. So we're just regular Bubbas too. I've always wanted to put that disclaimer out in our videos, like, hey, I'm not a level 100, wizard, flying wizard, or anything like that. Like, so I'm just above, a level 5 in Call of Duty or whatever. Like, I'm just starting to get my gear upgraded.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting smoked by 13-year-olds still.
Yeah. So I mean, we're doing the same thing you guys are doing. Like, we're going out on YouTube and we're looking on Instagram. We talk and, hey, do you think this is cool? We do that all day, every day. So, we're approaching this the same way you're doing right now, but we're wanting to share that with the crowd. So.
Yeah, we started the 4 of us going back and forth like, hey, I'll buy this one, you buy this one, you buy this one, and let's see which one's better. But then we had this information, and sure, the 4 of us knew it, and, 2 of us were out money, but the person that didn't have money to buy anything at that time was like, hey, which went better? Oh, the Romeo? Cool, that's what I'm buying.
Yeah.
So we did YouTube.
When the channel first started, we did kind of catch a little bit of grief for people like, well, who are you to say anything? Like, nobody. If you think I'm some sort of professional expert, you haven't been paying attention. But what we do have is some experience. Like, I'm literally running this stuff, 5,000, 10,000 iterations. And you're like, dude, my clout is to say what I do and don't like is from doing it 1 billion times. Right. And this thing sucks. And this is why. It may not suck for someone else, but this is why things work and why things don't, from what we've done from experience, and not necessarily like, well, some guy told me to run angled mags facing forward or backwards. You know what I'm saying? We're just using it and be like, oops. And I think that's part of it, is just being just natural ding-dongs. But we're learning it all too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what type of professional I need to be to run over a flashlight with a truck, but I'm not it. Like, I'm not that.
But
I do have a driver's license and I do have a truck. So you're welcome.
Well, I think that's key, because we're looking for these things, and we're doing the same things with this gear that all the viewers on YouTube are going to do with it, right? Some guy's looking for a camping flashlight, or some guy's looking to build an AR. That's the same stuff we've already been through. So
Yeah.
we just want to share it.
And half the time, like even with I told you guys about the 510. Like today, I think it was so funny. So I'm working on it and I'm doing the unboxing and stuff and just recording some footage. And the whole time, the optic keeps dying. And I'm like, man, something's wrong with this. It's not working. And I kind of sharing with the guys, and I'm like, guys, I feel like such a dum-dum. The solar panel is so big, it can be powered by natural light. The battery was never installed. So, it's so funny, like, to go through, like, what is the consumer experience? Like, okay, you get it out.
It gets the shadow, it died because there's no battery in it.
Yeah. And, like, it's like, okay, how do I connect it up? Like, okay, how do I do the switches? So we're trying to show you we try to be just like you guys are. Like, okay, I just got this thing. What does it do? Like, how do you work it? Like, why is it turning off? Like, did you install the battery? Like,
nope.
No.
We do the same thing you guys do. We take the instruction manual and put it to the side and start playing with the buttons.
Yeah.
I always hold the manual, but it's always after the fact. Like, I'm always like, I'm going to record that, even though I'm like, the video is almost all the way done, but I need to go put that in there to make it look like I at least looked at it.
There was this painting when I was in Bagram. There was this painting. This is when I was with aircraft maintenance. We had this painting in the specialist room, and it said specialists, and it had all electricians and avionics stuff. Specialists, we're smart, so you don't have to be. And that's how I feel like some people are on YouTube, and we're not at that point.
No, and I don't ever want to be at that point.
See, Harry Boney, who needs batteries? See, and what's funny is you don't need them, because I was running it for like a half hour without them.
Yeah, you only need it if the bad guy turned off the lights. Then you're screwed.
Turn the lights back on, quick.
Time out.
You can see just fine.
Yeah. So just regular guys.
So one thing I did want to add about into our story too is we actually went from a company that we really did is we built and Cerakoted guns. That's really what we did. And here's even one that we built and Cerakoted. This was a 50 Beowulf that we did in a distressed. And then
that one broke my heart. That one broke my heart
because you had to do that perfect cryptic and then just destroy it.
And it took all of it away.
There you go.
I love that.
I spent 40 minutes blending grays and blending blacks into all that. Like show Chris's gun.
Okay. Is it? I don't know if it's in this. I found this is like a little hidden gallery that I had forgotten about. I don't think Chris's is in here. Oh, there it is.
It's on Instagram.
Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah. So that is how that gun started. Okay.
And it's beautiful.
And then I had to take acetone and a scratch-free pad to that gun and then stick it in the oven. I was so mad when I did that I slammed the oven door and walked away.
This is the first one he did for me. He was like, I'll do it. It's no problem. It'll be just fine. It's not complicated.
The only problem, if anybody watching that wanting to get into Cerakote, do not try to Cerakote the cack blade. Do not try to Cerakote that. It peels. It will not work. I talked to 3 different Cerakoter after that. None of them have had any luck Cerakoting the cack blade.
We ended up having to take it off because it just didn't work out.
No.
We're the triplets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if there's a picture of them.
I thought I saw one right there. Isn't that it? Next to the Punisher one, to the right of Punisher? Down.
No.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's a different one Joe did.
No, that's my daughter's gun.
Yeah.
There's a bunch on Instagram.
We need to get the 50. So we have 3 50 Beowulfs that were painted the same way. That's hilarious that they're not on here. Here's that one he did that he had to scuff up though.
Oh, let's talk about the tank brake real quick.
Oh,
so that company, leave up that picture so I can walk through it.
So I'm just saying real quick. So we went from doing guns to now we do reviews because it's like impossible to get parts. So that's why we're here now.
Yeah. So this collar that threads onto the barrel, this company that makes this brake, they extended that collar out and put a lock screw in it.
Well, hold on though. This is Alexander Arms. They're the ones who developed 50 Beowulf. So this is their brake, and they purposely designed it to only fit on their barrel. So Joe was having that.
Yeah. So Walsh reached out, and they were pretty snappy with Walsh about, well, no, you can't put this on any other barrel. And like, I'm the consumer. I'm the consumer. We bought it. We paid for it. I'm putting it. I can throw it against the wall if I want to. I can do anything I want with this. And Walsh got back with me and said, "Hey, they're not willing to do anything. That's not their barrel, obviously." And they weren't willing to do anything. I'm like, "Well, dude, I'll just cut that part off." And Walsh, I'm like, "Can you do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a die grinder and an air compressor. Those are the two things you need to cut something." So put some tape around it, whack that thing off. I think I finally threw it away. We were going to send it back to the company because Walsh, you could speak on how they treated you, how Alexander Arms treated you when you said that it's not going to work.
They were just horrible. And I think, and what's funny is when we put it together, we realized that they put that shoulder on there just so that you couldn't put that brake on any barrel besides their own. Like they did a certain way they backed the shoulder off of whenever they did the actual threading of the barrel. And when I talked to them about it, they're like, "No, you absolutely 100% can't cut that." I was like, well, we can. Well, 100% we can.
Joe told me a die grinder and an air compressor.
Like, I was really nice to them. I was kind of like, "Hey, how do we do this? X, Y, and Z." And they were just like, "No, you can't, and we won't let you." I was like, "What are you not going to let me?" Like, okay, have a good day. Not only that,
so you kind of get the taste for Alexander Arms when they sued ammo manufacturers and people that make brass, like Starline makes brass for reloading. They sued them because they made 50 Beowulf brass. So Starline's like, "Okay, well, we'll just call it 12.7 by 49 or whatever it is," which is the exact same thing as 50 Beowulf, but they can't put 50 BEO on their brass anymore because of Alexander Arms.
Could you imagine?
It's a garbage company.
If Hornady sued somebody because they made something in 6mm arc, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hornady's developed around.
Yeah. If you said 6mm arc brass, you can't say that because we didn't make it.
Yeah,
and at the time, they were being particularly horrible about making anything. Like all their weights were like 6 months. So you didn't have the option of even buying from them. Oh, no. And then the prices of their stuff, even during pre-COVID, I think that upper, I think it was $2,000.
Yeah.
I want to say it was.
How much was that brake?
The brake was like $150 by itself, I think.
It was crazy.
I was like, why are we going to do that? Well, it's somebody else's money. If that's what they want, they got to pay for it.
Yeah, it was enough that we were all like, "That's crazy," and then we had to cut it. Thankfully, with the Cerakote and everything else, you can't even tell that you cut it, which is awesome.
All we did, we bought a lock nut, right? Just a regular nut. Put the nut on, screwed on the brake, got it timed where we wanted, and then put the nut up against it. Problem solved.
Yeah, and that way the measurement, that's what Joe was really worried about, cutting it. He was worried about cutting it so it was going to be too long. And we're all like, "Just cut it too short and we'll just time it." Like, it's not going to matter. So who cares? So it ended up working out really well. That gun's really cool. I don't even get to see it anymore. That owner moved away, but that one was a personal favorite. Me and Cody got to take it out and test shoot it, and we had some small problems, but we got them all fixed up.
Yeah.
No fault of ours. It was just a bolt carrier.
It was weird. The bolt carrier group that we got, it wouldn't cycle, but then Walsh took his bolt carrier group out of his gun and put it into that gun, and it cycled fine. It was just weird.
Yeah. And then we took he took his bolt carrier group and bolt, wouldn't work. So then I took my bolt carrier group and bolt, and it worked. Yep. So then I used his bolt in my bolt carrier, and it worked. We're like, there's literally something wrong with just this carrier.
Yeah.
So we sent it over to, I think it was Athena Arms.
Atheris.
What was it? Atheris?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the CEO
was
like
super cool about it. He sent you one. He sent you a replacement before he even got that one in to see what went wrong with it.
Yeah, because he knew it was for a customer. I think he sent me one of his personal because we ordered one like no logo or something. And it's like, "You know what? I'm going to send you mine." I still talk to him now and again. I probably should reach out. He was really cool. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see, everybody, everyday Joes, right? Just going through the heartache, and then we can tell you these companies are good to work with, and these companies not so much.
Mm-hmm.
They literally give you a directive that you cannot cut up something that you just purchased.
And what's funny is we go through so many other companies that are just fantastic.
That's
we have
still
some
my favorite
experiences with some companies that are just wonderful. And I'll go and I'll tell Jason and Joe, like, "Hey, I just dealt with so-and-so from Brownells or so-and-so." Like, I got one over from the Blackhound guys just from their customer service rep, and we chatted on the phone for like an hour. Nothing about guns, just about like different stuff he was doing. And it made me really excited to work with them and really recommend their stuff. So it's crazy to go from one crazy spectrum of like, no, you could never cut that. Like, okay, dude, to like, talk about your life and what these guys enjoy doing. So yeah, I'm really hopeful that we can share more of our stories with you guys.
I think when you told me that, I was in my garage drinking, and I actually had a beer in my hand, and I was like, hold my beer and watch this. And 5 minutes later, you had a photo of it all cut up.
Like, no big deal. Yeah. All right, let's go over. We're going to be about to the end of the show. Harry, I think you're the only one hanging out with us. So obviously, if you got questions, feel free to kick them out. But we're going to go over a couple things real quick, what we're going to be doing in the future. So upcoming content for me, I have the Haley Flat Pack 2.0 and DC3 RM Micro video coming out on Sunday. And then after that, on Tuesday, Jason let me steal that one, and I'm going to be doing the Scalar Works mount. And then the following week, I have the Esstac Deodon plate carrier.
Yeah.
We're going to be going really heavy into plate carriers because we have a million of them all of a sudden.
Oh, no, the Blackhound.
Oh, is it the Blackhound?
1x8, yep.
Oh, copy. Okay, so just disregard. So we got the Blackhound 1x8 we're going to be talking about on Sunday. The weather may not be good, so I may have to break that up into two and just do like an unboxing, and I'll go play with it in the yard. I may not be able to take it out to the range, but I'll set up a range day. But either way, we'll mount it on airsoft or something silly. You'll get 99% of what it would be like without me having to actually go.
Yeah. The only thing you actually know after that is if it holds a 0 with rounds going through it.
Yeah, and I'm going to do the whole tracking thing. So I'm going to track it around and then see where it ends back up when it comes back to the beginning. So we'll actually be able to see if it tracks properly. But it's a 1x8 too, so not like you're going to be really playing with the turrets. Anyway, I think we're going to do more of that on the 4x14 and the 5x25. So hopefully we can check those out. So we got all kinds of cool stuff coming from me. In the future, I got to get to work on a lot of that stuff, to be honest with you. Jason, what do you got coming up?
So Friday is going to be my Montana adventure finally. So that video is dropping tomorrow. And then Tuesday, I already forgot so Tuesday is your thing. So next Friday is going to be an actual reloading video. So I'm actually going to go through and reload. We talked about just doing 5 rounds. So I'll go through 223. There's a slightly different process reloading for rifle.
There were some commenters that were asking to see your 223, like how to do rifle. They commented on that.
Yep. So that's what we're going to do Friday. And then the Tuesday after that is going to be that True North modular holster adapter, which I love.
They still owe me one. I still want to try that thing out. Like, I want to see that bad. I want to
send one to me too.
Yeah. I think I don't know if they're sending 1 or 2. I don't know what they're sending. If we get 2, I'll take 1.
I just see upcoming events, and I saw Cody and Thumb come over the banner and point at him.
Yeah,
there he is.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. So Cody, what do you got? What are you working on?
I don't have much going on. I'm currently looking for jobs, so I've been busy. I still work full time and have twins, and I'm looking for jobs. So I don't have any content coming out, but I do have what is it? What are the jeans?
The LA Police Gear jeans?
Yeah. So I do have those coming if anybody's interested in seeing those, but and I still have to punch out the PCC video.
Yeah, one day we're gonna get together, and then
when the weather's nice.
Even if we're just showing it off. We already have some shooting footage of it, so we wouldn't need a whole lot of that. We could just at least show it off, and some.
It's just negative 12 degrees outside, so it's not that bad.
No big deal, and snowing again.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, my 6mm arc video was made in those conditions.
Listen, you weren't shooting the best either.
But I was shooting for accuracy at 100 yards, laying on concrete. When I got done with that, the wind had blown snow into my scope, so all the lower ring of the front of my scope filled with snow.
And so that like, I'm gonna go out there and people are gonna be like, "What's this? You were shooting so good when you were a newbie, and now all of a sudden you don't know how to do anything." Like, no, it's negative 12.
Yeah, but it lets you know. It lets you know where your strength
separates the men from the boys.
All right, Joe, what do you got? I know we got a couple videos from you that we have to edit up. Me and Jason do, but give the viewers a little bit heads up on that.
I mean, what I talked about last week, I did the Where the Hellcat's At, and then what else did I send you? I forget what
lead
it's said.
sled. Or
Oh, yeah, the lead
hydro sled.
The hydro sled, but we're going to see that when I take 6mm arc back out. I got a couple out-of-state trips coming up, but hopefully I can make some rounds and get back out to the range with a 6mm arc. I don't know. It sounds like Walsh drowning in all that gear, and then Cody and I are just sitting around twiddling our thumbs. So have fun with all those scope reviews.
I haven't even told you guys yet, but what did you say you bought the chest rig, right, Braden?
The Haley, I had that for a while. The DC3RM Micro, I've had that for about a year.
So I bought an Amazon cheapo one to compare.
Nice.
We're gonna run it.
Nice.
It's like $60 on Amazon.
We're gonna run it with the Bigfoot belt. Look how rigid this is.
Yeah.
This is
I'm gonna buy a fanny pack and just wear it over my chest, kind of like the one strap backpacks.
Yeah.
Just so I can be cool like you guys. It's gonna be out. And I'm gonna buy the belly-looking fanny pack. You know what I'm talking about? It looks like a belly, and I'm gonna run it over my chest.
I have it connected up to
the
my
Australians call them bum bags, and I think that's a way better name.
Nice.
The Haley flat pack. I see it in all these videos, and I have one, and I really don't understand why. It's really it fits like a child's Lunchable in there, and I don't know why people are like, yeah, I need this. Like, no, I want to put a bag on my plate carrier that I can't take off. Like, no.
What's the brand of the like the Cry wannabe pants that we have?
Oh, IO gear.
Yeah, so I have an IO gear flat pack like that I love. It's on my plate carrier.
Is it? Yeah. Probably a lot cheaper. I probably should have done that. That's probably a lot cheaper than the Haley strategic one.
Yeah.
That I'm just gonna. I don't like it because if I'm using it, I like to put a ruck over my plate carrier because that's where I can actually ditch it. If I'm using that, it kind of gets in the way of all that. So it's kind of counterintuitive.
Try putting a hydro bag on your back of a plate carrier.
We'll play with
and then sitting in a Mat V for 2 hours on bumpy roads.
You like this the whole time?
Yep.
Where is that Blackhound? So I got to get the Blackhound out, but I'm really excited to show you guys the Blackhound. I really like it. I am fighting with, not fighting, I love him to death, Dawson over at Wheeler in Crimson Trace. He's going to try and send us their new Hardline Pro 1x6. Their reticle, I'm going to show you guys, is awesome. Like, it's what you really, the shape you kind of need. So I'm hoping they send us one, and then I'll let you guys fight for it.
Another 1x6?
Another one.
I'm out.
Well,
I don't need it.
You're like, I'm out. It's somebody else. Someone else can have one.
That's extra weight that I don't need.
I think I'm the only one that doesn't have a 1x6, but I'm like swimming in 1x8s though. So yeah, maybe
if you want one, I'll send you this one back to you.
Yeah, we'll trade them around either way. We can work out. Maybe we just give it to some viewer. Be like, oh Harry, you're the only one in here. Oh well, just pick a number and you win. Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. We're gonna pick anybody in here at random. Oh, Harry, you're it.
And we should do that. We should just do a random giveaway during the chat. Be like, okay, so whoever's here, and then Harry just wins every week. Be like, oh, weird, it's the same guy.
Yeah. First one to comment the word blah gets it.
We have so much stuff, and it's going to get even crazier soon, where there's going to be way more. Like, I mean, even with we're talking red dots. It's like, all right, who needs we don't need more red dots. We're like, okay, Harry. Congratulations on your Crimson Trace red dot. Your address.
Mr. Baloney, here you go.
And Jason's like, that's not his name.
Nope. His name's even better.
Okay, so yeah, Harry, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the good comments. We'll make sure next time around I'll find something small and fun we can give away. I have a bunch of rear bags that we can give away too. So we got all kinds of stuff. Alrighty, well, thanks everyone. It was a good time as always, talking about some stuff. Next week we'll have Chuck with us. We'll have all kinds of good stuff. Please check out our videos, see all the things that are coming out. Jason's reloading video, our flat pack stuff, all kinds of good fun. And we're still waiting to see Joe shoot that 1,000-yard gun. I'm trying to beat him to it, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't have a 1,000-yard range.
Not if you're not willing to go out and shoot during the winter. It's not going to happen.
I don't have the range anyway. I'd have to literally drive to you and then just shoot with you and then just hit it before you. That's my only option at this point.
Yeah, and you'll be too busy setting up your tripod to get a round off before I do.
That tripod is ridiculous.
What's that?
Same one. He has this. He has that slick tripod. I tell you what, that thing is ridiculous.
Dude, if
Yeah,
you're
I don't
shooting
have
out
a
of a
holder for my
blind,
gun on it though.
right?
There's
If
a
you're
national precision range out here.
Is there?
Yeah, it's like 45, 50 minutes away, but
Dang, you might beat me because I go out of state for 2 weeks.
It's really cold. I'm gonna be a baby about it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
You got an opportunity.
I go
right.
out of state for 2 weeks, so and then I
All
come
right,
back
thanks,
and I think
everybody.
I'm out of state again.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming with us. Thanks for hearing about the story of TLD. And we'll catch you guys all next Thursday when Chuck joins us and he tells us, I don't know, because we went over everything. Sure, he has a bunch to add, though. All right, everybody. Take care of yourself.